Okay, what I'm going to do in this lesson is I'm going to try to demonstrate masking, something that's pretty close-ish to the tutorial that's included with the Ultrafractal program. So if you're ever sort of stuck, with that, go up to help. If you have the splash screen, the displays at launch still checked, okay, you can get to it that way. Otherwise, at any time you can go up to the help menu and go into tutorials, okay. Okay, and what that does basically is opens up a help browser. I went into, gosh, I think it was quick start tutorial masking. Okay, so I'm going to do something pretty close to this because really it's not a bad model, to be honest. You can run into some more complicated models or some more complicated fractals, but it's just a matter, once you basically grasp the basics of this, it's much easier to work out like the problems as you face them. I mean, pretty much as you've seen in this tutorial, I'm not editing out any of the kind of hiccups and stuff you can run into, because if I can run into them, you can run into them, and it's just a matter of basically troubleshooting and solving those problems as and when you find them. What I'm not going to do though is I'm not going to work with a default Julia seed, which was suggested in the tutorial. I think that was picked up from somewhere, more along the lines of a classic Julia, or more along the lines of the, if you like, the straight Julia formula. But what we're going to do, we'll use the switch, okay, or maybe not. We'll use the Julia formula, okay. But I wanted to basically just to show you something, okay. First of all, if we go to the location tab, hit reset. Now, picking a classic Julia out of this is not as easy as it seems at first, okay. What we need to do, go to the formula tab, okay. We're in Julia. Let's just, so we're on the same page, change this to multipass linear and off. This is my preferred, because if you come to render at the end, as I said, this picks up like all the iteration details, where the other ones, in my experience, don't. They miss things, or you get some strange things. The Julia seed is what we're kind of concerned with here, which is the real and imaginary values in these fields. Let's right click, okay. Hit the Explorer. Okay, that doesn't always come up. You might have to right click and go Explore, or you can just right click and click in the icon if it comes up. On my machine it doesn't always come up, which is why I'm mentioning that right click Explore. Now, with a range set to 1, okay, if I go into the Explorer, let's drag out the fractal mode viewer for a sec. Okay, the change is very gradual. Okay, I've got a Julia there, but it's still not the classic up down that we're looking for. Now, I find really it's like this range is not large enough, so I'm gonna have to pop this up to, what I do is I pop it up to around 5, okay. Oops. Just to give me the range, so I can get up to something like what I'm looking for. Okay, still not really. Okay, there we go, getting there. Okay, when I get to something close to what I want, I've got to drag down and across. Okay, up, there we go, getting close. Okay, when I get somewhere close to what I wanted, okay, I click or double click just to commit it. Okay, now I'll go back in there again and fine tune it. Explore, range 1, okay, because now we've basically got a handle on where we're going. Okay, it's much easier just to tighten it up from there. So something like that. Okay, so we're back to a pretty classic Julia form here. Let's close and let's redock the fractal mode window, not close it. Just want to say, I can't remember the actual shortcut for this. I think it's a Shift 5, or it's transferring over from Mac switch mode, window, tool windows, Shift F5, yeah. So if you're ever stuck, if you do close it automatically, just Shift F5 will bring it back. Okay. Alright, so let us change the outside coloring to something we can work with there. To do that, let's go ahead and we will make a copy of the background. Okay, and then we'll make another copy of the background. Okay, and then finally we'll make another copy of the background. I'll tell you why, because I want to change this. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to basically make the blue area of the Julia here transparent. Okay, but before that I'm going to basically give it some form or some shape. Okay, so if we go to the outside coloring, we'll go to, we could go doodads again, whatever. Let's go, I'll tell you what, we could go orbit traps or doodads. Okay, as I said, I want to keep it close to the actual UF tutorial, so we'll go, we'll backtrack. Okay, we'll go back and we'll do it as per the tutorial. We'll go outside, okay, click triangle inequality average. Okay, now the first thing we need to do here, we have this kind of very harsh jaggedness going on here. And the reason for that is with this formula, okay, and some formulas that include like a bailout value, they have this kind of weird number here, 1E20. Now what 1E20 refers to is kind of an approximation of infinity in fractal speak, because a lot of mathematicians don't believe there is such a thing as infinity, so it's as close as you'll get, and it's denoted by this 1E20. Okay, what we want to do basically is go into the formula tab, okay, and we want to type 1 capital E20 in the bailout value. Okay, and that brings us up to something a lot nicer, much smoother, smooth transitions, none of those hard lines. Okay, almost like strands or stalks. You know, other applications or programs like TRSON or Sterling, where, for example, we refer to these kind of things as strings or whatever. So what we want to do here is F4. Okay, what we want to do here is, because I'm not happy with this gradient, so let's just make sure we're clicked in any field other than the opacity. So click once in there, and what that does is enables the slider. If you click there, okay, nothing happens. If you click in any of the other fields, okay, the points pop up, okay, and then you can drag to the left. Okay, so let's go down. I think I'm normally happy here with around 170. Okay, I think the tutorial might be a bit different. Let's go, okay, minus 137. Okay, I think that's what the tutorial value was, and we will close the browser, the gradient window for a second. Okay, let's make a copy of the background layer, and we're going to go right click on that, and we are going to rename that to waves. Okay, waves. What we're going to do is we're going to choose the outside tab, go into orbit traps. Okay, turn off repeat gradients. Okay, so you got the smooth outside. Change point to waves. Okay, and you got something very funky going on there. Change the transfer function to log. Okay, let's dock the layer property palette for a minute, give us more room, and bring back the gradient browser. Now, what we will do is we want about 3 or 4 points maximum here, so we will get rid of these two by drag clicking over the two of them. Okay, then you can but you can't here. Okay, my little trick to, yeah, basically if you command click over a single point you can delete it, but over two of them at once nothing happens. So you've got to basically hit command delete on the keyboard. Okay, that'll get rid of the two of them. let me see how we go here. We go, one of these goes black. Okay, so we want a black outside. Let's drag this down. Okay, maybe, okay, I think the tutorial is something like this, or you could basically hit Command, click here, just to bring up, you know, to tighten it up a bit. It kind of looks okay at that though. So, yeah, so not really needed, okay? So we'll get rid of that point. So 3 points, so you have something that looks like this. Now, the tutorial that says, okay, you just change the blend mode to screen, okay? Handy enough, okay? I work with like a number of Fractal programs, a number of image editing programs, painting programs, etc. And I like screen, but again, you know, just as handy is keep this on normal. And if we can get rid of the black, let me see, the black outside. Just make sure I've got, yeah, link color and opacity. If we can get rid of the black outside, all the better. So we'll drag the rightmost down. Okay, we'll Command add a point here. Okay, and the further we drag that over to the left, the tighter it gets. Okay, so do something like that. Again, we could tighten these guys up a bit more. Let's click the two of them. Okay, so you have something like that. Okay, I haven't got that all the way over by the looks of it. Is that it? That's it, position 1. Okay, that's it. I didn't have it all the way over, so I was having a bit of interference here. We could even drag the opacity of the remaining black stop down, probably even altogether. Yeah. So you didn't even, basically you don't even need that. You can basically get rid of one of those points, and what was the black point, just drag the opacity way down, okay? And if you drag it more to the right, it becomes bigger, or, you know, a bit thicker, a bit wider. So that is our waves layer out of the way. Let's add another layer, which would be the box layer. So we rename this box. Okay. We will, for this layer again, we should go back. Let's bring back the opacity for this. Okay. Basically, what I want to show you here, it's a very, very useful asset to have. Okay, is to have a. If I go right click on the gradient, I go open. Okay, I've added it here. Okay, but what I wanted to show you is it's very important to have, or very useful to have, a multi-pointed grayscale gradients. I mean, the standard ones come with various gradients, but if you click on any of them, they only have one point. They only have 2 points. Okay. Yeah, they're very limited. If you've got a more contrasty gradient, you know, when you're in basically you're browsing colorings, etc., it's much easier to see them. You know, you've got much more options. What I did here basically was I just choose the default gradient. Okay, I dragged in the luminance channels. Okay, I dragged down, up, up and down. So I had basically 5 points, pretty evenly distributed. I right clicked and then I went save as. Okay, I went into our course gradients and saved as grayscale 5. Okay, that's all you need to do. I just wanted basically a 5-point gradient. Okay, if you then go to the outside tabs, you look at things, they're much easier, they're much more distinct. You can find things a bit easier to play with. Okay, this was to be, let me just see, I kind of lost the thread there a little bit. Waves now needs to be box. We're still within the orbit traps, by the way. Let me see, I can't find it straight away. I want to go to, whoops, I want to go orbit traps, box. It's just 2 above waves. Okay, so now we have this kind of octagonal shape around the fractal. We basically want to make a black area here, have a white border, okay, and get rid of everything else that's inside. So let's go ahead and start playing with the gradient again. So it's link color and opacity by right clicking in the opacity channel. We will get rid of, okay, this is going to be the inside white, okay, which is kind of fine. We will want to get rid of the inside black, or do we? No, I said the color of this, so I'm going to leave that there. We're going to change the color of this in a second. What we want to do is we want to get rid of, this is this kind of band in between the white border, the inside. Okay, we're going out all the time, okay. So we want to get rid of this here. We probably want to bring the white border in a bit, okay. It's a bit too far out. Okay, there's something kind of nice. What we can do here, okay, this is kind of a bit graduated at the moment, okay. I want to make a nice hard, sort of just a hard line border here. So how we go about that here is to command click, okay, add a point, basically by command clicking on the line, bringing it up. Okay, command click another and bring it down. Okay, so basically then by just moving these 2 points, okay, these two newly created points, have one incidentally directly below the other. Let's just make sure, what's the position of this second white point? It's 240. Okay, let's click on the black point, it's 242. So let's change that to 240 and hit return. Okay, so now they're directly on top of each other. Okay, shift click to select both points, okay, move it out a bit. So now we have a nice hard line border. Okay, and what we're going to be masking here is this black area, okay. So let us create another copy of this box there. Okay, oh, created two. So we've now got two. Let's basically, what we're going to do is hide the visibility of the original box there. That's layer box. Okay, what we now have is layer 1. We'll right click on this and we will call this mask. Okay, mask, return. As I said, what we're trying to mask here is this black area. Okay, so we don't want this white edge because this white edge is going to be on the original box layer, but we don't want this affected by the gradient we're going to, by the texture we're going to add to it. Okay, so let's get rid of basically these two white points, the newly created black point, and this other point directly below the first white point. So there's 4 points in there. Let's see, I might have to do a bit of, okay, I think it's command shift. No, it's not doing it either. I need to get rid of 4 points here, so I'll do them individually. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, okay, I've got to bring them back for a sec. Control Z, 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 Z. Okay, I've got to bring these back. I need to, okay, I knew I was running into a bit of a problem there. So what I want to get rid of is, okay, command, click. Okay, that, not that one. These two. Okay, till I'm left basically with a gradient. Let's just bring back the background. Still not quite. Okay, I'm bringing back the box, the original box for a minute, because I want to be able to see this white line here. Okay, so working on the mask layer, I'm still dragging across, okay, till I get that white. Okay, I can then command control at another point, drag it down, okay. Okay, so I've got basically just this black layer, which is going to act as the mask. Let us make a copy of the mask layer. Right click in it, rename it texture. Okay. Again, let's right click in the gradients and we'll bring back that newly created gradient we've just created. Okay, so it's open, coarse grads, grayscale 5. Okay, let us change the formula to pixel. My formula is JPUFM pixel. Okay, location, reset location to default. Outside, we go over traps. We've been using SAM. Okay, let's use maybe Truche this time. I think we've been using Hilbert and one or two other ones up to now. But again, you can choose whichever one you want. I've been using Truche. Let's have a look at Truche tiles. We'll go squarey. We go. Let's just play okay with the gradient. Okay, just slightly we got something okay, a bit more contrasty. Pattern size, Explorer. I want to bring it way down, so bring the range up to about 3. Okay, so you can bring it way down, something around there. Pattern rotation. Let's see if we can go 33. A bit more. So it'll be 45. So 45 will give us a nice sort of horizontal, vertical pattern. Thickness. We'll play with thickness in a minute. Let's go ahead and apply the mask first of all. Okay, in this case, we go users mask. Okay, and immediately when we use it as mask, we can see up here we have this white. The white area, okay, that's what's been masked here. Okay, well I didn't want masked in this case as the inside, so let's undo the mask for a sec. Okay, let's just shift click on the mask layer. Okay, what I want to get rid of here basically is this inside, so let us not insert a point, the point should be there. Okay, let's just drag the visibility of that down. Okay, we're going to have to leave the visibility of that. Command click, okay, and then drag down, and then over to the left, and that'll get rid of it. It keeps, in other words, you've got one transparent node directly under the opaque node here, and that'll get rid of your inside. It's kind of a reversal of something we did earlier on. Okay, so we just left with this frame, as it were. So we go back and reapply the mask. Okay. Bring back the visibility of everything. Okay. So now we have all layers visible. This is what we've got. Well, I said earlier with the box layer. Okay, we wanted to change this color here on the left. Okay, we've got kind of a black color in there, and I'm quite sure it was a blue color. So let's have a look what we can pump in here. If we go, we could do it either way. We'll do it. Okay, I've brought this up. Okay, if we go 137, 137. Okay, and this would be something like 253 or so. Okay, would have been something close to that anyway. Tighten it up a bit. Okay, and there you have it. I mean, what you can do is you can go back to the texture value, bring back the gradient. Play around with that till you've got something you like. Okay, we'll close the gradient. What we could do is we could shift click with everything, basically with all layers enabled. Okay, shift click. Okay, drag to the left. Okay, and bring everything back on screen. So there we have it. That's our positive or regular masking texture. And in the next lesson we'll have a look at reverse masking. Okay, in this lesson, let's take a look at reverse masking. Bear in mind what I said in an earlier lesson about black and white, and that basically whatever is in the white area is what you're masking. In other words, it will be the active part of the mask. The black part will be the negative part of the mask. Okay, with that said, let's make a copy of our background layer. Okay, we'll turn off the background layer for the moment, or the visibility of it, to make life a bit easier. Go to layer 1. Okay, what I want to do is to make the blue part of the beta here transparent. So what I'm going to do is, as before, we right click in the opacity field, click on the link color and opacity, and we'll drag the leftmost node down to the bottom and out to the right, and we'll drag the second node down. What I want to do is just tighten it up onto this area here. I want to keep the white part but just get rid of the blue. So what I'm being left with is something like this. Okay, this is basically what's going to work as our mask. You could probably drag this out a little bit more, just to make sure. That's at position 158. We'll make that 158 as well. 158. Okay, and hit return. Okay, let's make another copy of that. Okay, we want to work with pixel. Again, you can choose really whatever texture you like. For the purpose of demonstration, I'm finding that this Hilbert is working out quite nice as a texture. So if I go back to, I think it was Sam it was in, or MT. In Sam, Hilbert curve. Okay, I've still got this basically mapped to a Mandelbrot, so I want to put this onto a pixel. I mean, that could also work. You could choose that yourself. I'm going to work with a pixel. I'm going to put the location back to default. Okay, so I've got a pixel default outside of Hilbert. I want to basically, for this layer, I want to restore all the opacity. Okay. What we'll do is we'll now turn on the visibility of the background layer again. Okay. On layer 1, we're going to click on that, right click, and choose use as mask. Okay. Or again, you could click on this icon, or you could use the shortcut. Okay, what this has done, if you look at the icon here, it's got the white Mandelbrot in the middle, okay, and the black is on the outside. Now we want basically the texture to be on the outside and the Mandelbrot to be in the middle. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to right click in the gradient for the mask, okay, and right click and choose invert. Okay, now that's got us where we want to go, but we have a slight problem, and that part of the mask is still remaining on the inside. So how do we go about correcting that? Well, the answer to that is quite simple. You just basically go up to the color, the inside coloring in this case, take the solid color and drag the opacity down to 0. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to just find a nice value that I like. I mean, I can tinker around with this or whatever. But that's it. That's the outside coloring done. So remember, before we go, just have a look again at the mask. I'm going to actually rename this. Rename outside mask, or reverse mask. Reverse mask. We call the top layer outside texture. Outside texture, and background remains the same. So there we have it for the outside masking tutorial.